guys, it's Ginger. Welcome to part 2 of my favorite music from the 70s. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your relatives, and I hope you enjoy it. See you in the next video. Bye. Alright, Linda Ronstadt. Linda Ronstadt. I've always loved Linda Ronstadt, and unfortunately she recently revealed that she has Parkinson's disease, and the disease has robbed her of her ability to sing. And she has an incredibly unique voice, and just you know, when I was a little girl I just loved listening to her music. I still love listening to it. This album is called Simple Dreams. It's from 1977, and this also is a gatefold, so you open it up and you get to see. I think it's her band. Yeah. Anyway, this has It's So Easy, Blue Bayou, Poor, Poor Pitiful Me, which is one of my all-time favorite songs, and so is Blue Bayou. You know, I mean, it's just love. And then here is, this is Led Zeppelin. It's a Led Zeppelin. You guys can tell me which number it is because it doesn't say, and I don't know. It's the one that's got the little squiggle thingy. Anyway, this has, I'm going to have to open it up. This has Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Stairway to Heaven. I mean, come on, man. Stairway to Heaven. See, look at that. And the funny thing about it is we're getting into some of the records that belonged to my dad. And he purchased most of his collection when he was in the army in Germany, stationed in Germany. Why can't I get this back in here? Anyway, a lot of these records have stuff written in German on them because he bought them when he was in Germany. So, and this one, and it'll say, if you look at it, it'll say on the inside record label, it'll say made in Germany because it was actually printed overseas. And sometimes the ones that he purchased overseas had different versions of album covers, which is kind of cool because they weren't sold in the United States with those particular details on the album covers, so that's kind of cool. Here is The Doors, LA Woman. LA Woman. This was in, and see, this is another one that says made in Germany. Let's see if we can find a date on this bad boy. I don't see it, but this was in the 70s. And this got Riders on the Storm, LA Woman, you know, all kinds of really great stuff. Next is Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. And this is a double album. See, it's Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. It's a double album. And you open it up, and it's, again, it's a gatefold, and it's got, you know, this thing on it, which you can actually open it up. You can open it up like that, and it's got a bunch of stuff. See, that's what I loved about records, is that it had all this, you know, cool stuff that you could sit and look at while you were listening to the record. Anyway, this has like Honky Tonk Woman. It's got all kinds of stuff on it. Check out any Joe Cocker. I had the luck of being able to see him in the early 90s when he went on tour with Stevie Ray Vaughan. Another one that I feel very lucky to have seen in concert because he was killed just a few months after I saw him in concert. Here is, this would fall under probably the 60s, late 60s, early 70s is Simon and Garfunkel's Greatest Hits. And this has Mrs. Robinson, The Boxer, The Sound of Silence, which is one of my favorite songs, Bridge Over Troubled Water, America, Kathy's Song. It's, you know, it's amazing. Check it out. Okay, now this is just a fun one that I stuck in here. This is just a fun one. It's called Big Bamboo. It's Cheech and Chong. It's a Cheech and Chong album that my dad had. Now, I'm sure it has something to do with marijuana. This is from 1972. I'm sure this has something to do with rolling a big old doobie. Because, and this is rare. This is rare for this to still be in the album. Anyway, so this is a gatefold that opens up. And there's their picture. Cheech Marin and Tommy Chong. And then, if you look here, oh, this is a rolling paper that says Cheech and Chong on it. It's a gigantic rolling paper. And most people who have this album don't still have the rolling paper because they attempted to roll a great big old doobie. And smoke a great big doobie. Anyway, so here's another one. This is the Eagles. Like I said, I have an incredible love for the Eagles. And this is Desperado, which came out in '73, which is the year that I was born. This has Tequila Sunrise, Desperado, Certain Kind of Fool. I mean, I love the Eagles. Alright. Some more. Here's the last pile. Let me move these down here. Alright. Here we go. Elton John. Madman Across the Water. Elton John. This has Tiny Dancer, Leave-On, Madman Across the Water. I mean, it's incredible. Incredible. And this is a gatefold as well. And this is 1971. 1971. And this has a gatefold with pictures of him from back in the day. It's, you know, love it. Love it, love it. And see, if you pull out the record, you'll see sometimes on the sleeve will have all kinds of different stuff on it. And I guess these are records that were offered by the same record company. Anyway, yeah, and it's torn down at the bottom. Ah! Oh, this has got a booklet. I forgot. This is like a little booklet that's on the inside of the gatefold. It probably has the words. See, that's another thing that I loved about records back then. Because it would have the words on the inside. Because later on, when you got into cassette tapes, you'd have to spend hours and hours like listening to it over and over again. And, you know, to try and figure out what the words were. But back in the day, they would print the words on the record most of the time. Alright. ZZ Top. Trace Hombres. This has Move On Down the Line, LaGrange, The Little Band from Texas. Alright, here's another Elton John, Don't Shoot, I'm only the piano player. And this is from, let's see, this is from, it doesn't say. This has Daniel, you know, Crocodile Rock on it. And it's another gatefold. And there's a picture of him. some pictures. Ooh. Let's see. 1972. This is from 1972. Alright, next. I am not sure, I should have looked it up, what year this is from. But this is Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers. And this is the cover that has the zipper on it that you can open up. You can see it's been opened up and torn. The Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers. And this has Brown Sugar, Wild Horses, Dead Flowers, Moonlight Mile. I mean, this is one of their classic albums, and this is a classic album cover. I mean, it's awesome. I'd show you what was inside the breeches, but I'm afraid it would tear if I tried to pull down the zipper. All you see is underwear. Anyway, so here is another Janis Joplin. This is Janis Joplin Full Tilt Boogie on her album Pearl. And, I mean, this has got Me and Bobby McGee, Mercedes-Benz, you know. I mean, it's Janis Joplin. Come on, man. And this is from the early 70s. I don't see a year printed on here, but this is from the early 70s. And then here's another one that I loved growing up too. Dad used to play this a lot. A lot. Gordon Lightfoot. Gordon Lightfoot, Sundown. Love this. That's one of my all-time favorite songs by Gordon Lightfoot is Sundown. You need to go check it out. But this has got High and Dry, Carefree Highway, which is another great song by him. Too Late for Praying, Sundown, Seven Island Suite, The List, The Watchman's Gone. And this is from 1974. And then this is Jim Croce. Jim Croce, Life and Times. I mean, another great one that we lost. He was killed in a car accident. When I went to art school several years ago, and when I was in art school, one of my professors was a musician, and she had lived out in Los Angeles, and she had had a record deal, and this was back in the 70s. So she knew him. She was friends with him, and she said he was one of the nicest people she'd ever met in her entire life. And it was such a shame. In fact, she had a picture of him at her desk. Anyway, here's another gatefold that's got the words, which I love. And this has Bad Bad Leroy Brown. It doesn't have to be that way. Love that. Okay. Now, this is another one that he obviously bought in Germany, because look at that. I don't know what that says. Does anybody speak German? I don't know what that says. Anyway, this is Deep Purple Machine Head, which just celebrated its 40th anniversary not so long ago. And this has, I mean, look, another gatefold. It's got pictures of all the people in the band. Different, like, behind the scenes of when it was being recorded. This has Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, Space Truckin'. Alright. Now here's the serious. Here's the serious. The serious. Black Sabbath, baby. Black Sabbath. Love it. This is the Deep in the Dark. Black Sabbath. This is their first album. I always remember it because it's got the witch on it. Self-titled first album. And this came out in, oh, and this has a gatefold as well. This was in, I believe it came out in 70. Yeah, I'm probably wrong. And this has got Black Sabbath, Behind the Wall of Sleep. Let's see. It's a gatefold as well. And there's the back of it. I guess I could show you the gatefold. Be warned that it's not... I've read some stuff and saw some interviews where Black Sabbath was not happy. This was the European version. Again, this was purchased when my dad was in the military, and a lot of times the covers were different. In fact, I don't think that the American version... No, the American version had a gatefold, but I do believe... I'm probably getting it mixed up with something else. But this particular thing was not on it. So I'm going to show you. Please don't be offended. I know that the band was not happy about this being printed in the European version, which was why it was not printed in the American version of it. But this is the gatefold. Anyway, it's an amazing album. This is the band, this is the record that changed everything. They are considered the godfathers, the fathers. They are considered the fathers of modern heavy metal. Anybody who's a heavy metal musician will, give their inspiration to Black Sabbath. Here's another Black Sabbath, Paranoid. And Paranoid was not the original title. The original title was War Pigs, but somebody didn't like that at the record company, so they changed it to Paranoid. Anyway, this has War Pigs, Paranoid. This is the album that has Iron Man on it. Everybody knows what Iron Man is. Everybody knows that song, especially since the Iron Man movies came out. Everybody knows the song Iron Man. This was the first album, from what I understand, this is a gatefold, that had a picture of the band. In Europe, it had a gatefold with the picture of the band, and I think in the United States, the picture of the band was on the back. Ooh, this one has seen its better days. Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. And this has got Children of the Grave, Into the Void, all those classic songs. And anybody who doesn't know, these 3 albums were when Ozzy was in the band. Ozzy Osbourne. This also has, from what I understand, see, this one was a European version as well. And from what I understand, it's raised. The letters are raised, and in the American version, the letters weren't raised, and I think that where it says Masters of Reality, I think was silver, was printed silver, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, so, whew, let's not make it fly across the room. Yeah, this is another one that was printed in Germany. Next is Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And this has Candle in the Wind. His famous Candle in the Wind, Benny and the Jets, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And this is a 2 record set. And it's got the gatefold with all kind, I guess it's the band, pictures of the band, and Bernie Taupin, who is his songwriter, and it's got the words to the songs in it. And there's the record. Oh, this is a trifold. I forgot. This is a trifold. Look at that. Ba-da-down! So. And then there's the back. Alright. I think that's all. I think that's it. I'll have to see how long this ended up lasting. This may be a 2-parter. Anyway, so that's all I got from the 70s. There's more, I'm sure. At some point, I'm going to do kind of like a top 10 all-time favorite sort of deals, and every once in a while I'll just give you some recommendations of music that I think you might like and that's good and you should hear. But go out and check out some of these. Go on iTunes, give them a little listen. Go out and buy the CDs. Go out and buy the vinyl if you still have access to a record player like I do. I still have my stereo that my parents gave me for my 16th birthday. And it's got a turntable and a tape deck. It doesn't have a CD player in it because that was before CD players were in stereos. And well, that's when CD players were really expensive. So, give this a thumbs up if you like it. This may end up being a two-parter. So, we'll see. Because this is pretty long. I'm pretty long-winded when it comes to music. Anyway, give a thumbs up if you like these music deals. I'm going to be doing these probably once a month. If you like it, I may do it more. The next era will be the 1980s. We'll be covering 1980 through 89, and it was very interesting. It runs the gamut. You have some stuff in the early 80s that was very still disco-y. Then you have what's considered hair metal, which I don't like that title to it, because it was just rock and roll. And in the mid to late 80s, things had sucked. In the 70s, the late 70s, the early 80s, we had the recession, and things started turning around by the mid 80s, so everybody just wanted to have a good time. And that's what a lot of the music was. It was about having a good time and partying, and it was fun music, just a lot of fun music. Because everybody had been through, there had been a war and all kinds of stuff like that in the 60s and 70s, so everybody just wanted to have a good time. Anyway, so that's all for this video, the faves of the 1970s. Give it a thumbs up, comment. Check me out on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. Also, what else? Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. It's free. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.